Train Sim World 2. Now, obviously, if you don't know what this game is about, basically, obviously, it's a new game to the PS4. It came out originally, the first Train Sim World, approximately 2 odd years ago, and now, obviously, we've got the second Train Sim World, obviously Train Sim World 2. Obviously, we're going to give it a go today, see what it's like to play, see how good the game is, and how it compares to real life. We're going to try probably two lines today. We'll probably first try the Bakerloo line, and finally we'll go on the German train, the German high-speed rail train, and try that, of course. See what that's like as well. Obviously, Bakerloo line, being a Londoner myself, I'm pretty familiar to, obviously, well, I'm pretty familiar to, the line. Obviously, it runs from Elephant and Castle to Harrow Willstone. So, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the actual line in that aspect. In terms of weather, let's decide what we want. I'm gonna decide it's gonna be, well, summer. I think we're gonna have it similar to today's weather, a bit cloudy, but otherwise it's gonna be a nice summer. And yeah, we're gonna run. I'm gonna say the full line: Harrow Willstone to obviously Elephant and Castle. It's going to be reasonable early morning, so rush hour roughly. And yeah, we're going to see what it will be like, see how we go along, see what it's about, and see how it compares. Now, you know, as I say, I know this line pretty well. Certainly, as soon as we get to Wembley, I know it probably more better. In particular, because it runs along the high-speed railway. Most of it actually. In fact, I think all of the Bakerloo line runs along the high-speed railway up to, I think Kentish Town or somewhere, somewhere like that. So yeah, you know, overall, right now we got a red. First objective is to, well, to start the train. So right, control key is on now. Right, let's turn on the director switch. Forward. Oh, that's not. Yep, that's forward. Good. We don't need that on. Turn that. So there we go. So lowering the brake pressure. So right now a bit late, but it's okay. And here we go then. So, obviously, don't need to go too fast into Harrow Willstone. Obviously, just reasonable. As we enter the station, this is the first station on the line then today. Obviously, yeah. So, we're actually, right now, sorry, we're only about 10 seconds late into Harrow Willstone, which is alright, I suppose. We're going to try and also turn on the cab lights. So, yeah. Otherwise, we're more or less on time. I think we're going to stop here. And let's open the doors. So yeah, we're gonna try and turn on the cab lights, just so I can have a bit more light on in the train. Hope these lights are on. No, they're not yet. To be honest, they don't probably need turning on till we get to what you call it, till we get into the tunnels. But I will have to make sure they are on. Anyway. Right, next station is Kenton. Theory should be going. Why are we moving? Of doors shut? Oh yeah. Now that makes sense. You can't actually, by the way, depart for whatever reason. I don't understand why. With the train window open. Anyway, so next stop is Kenton, which is in about 1 mile. We're due in approximately 27 seconds time. Not sure whether we're going to make that. With the tube, it's obviously a very different experience, if you know what I mean, because with the tube, obviously, it's one of those services that actually should be done very, very quickly. You know, it's not something that should take forever, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we're gonna accelerate up to 45 miles per hour here. Obviously, we got 0.6 miles, so quite a distance, fair old distance between, obviously, our first stop, Harrow Wheelstone, and Kenton. So we are getting a bit closer now. As you can see, it's in yards now, no longer in miles. So yeah, and in fact I can start seeing that. And here's another train on the right going the opposite direction. Obviously going away from going towards Harrow. So that was pretty good. Decent old braking. Right, let's turn on our destination. We're going to Elephant and Castle. Obviously, Zone 1. So next is South Kenton. So this is obviously the track to the left is high-speed rail. That's why you have the overhead, what they call them, overhead rail thing, the overhead electric wire. And on this line, well, it used to be Virgin trains. However, Virgin is no longer around in 2020. They've changed the company name to some other company, not too sure what it is. However, London Midlands also runs on that line as well. London Midlands used to be London Midlands used to be Silverlink or Thameslink, I believe it was, back in the day. So, yeah, it's obviously... This is the, I believe, West Coast Main Line, if I'm correct. So, yeah, for majority of the first part of our journey, we're going to run parallel to the West Coast Main Line, which runs all the way up to Manchester, which isn't too bad. Also, you can get trains to Birmingham, Liverpool Lime Street, Crewe, so quite a few places actually along the West Coast Main Line. Anyway, opening the doors now. This is South Kenton, I think, if I'm correct, or somewhere. Bit out of London, not in London exactly. Well, it is in London, but I would call it outskirts of London, because London is as soon as you start getting more central. Anyway, next is North Wembley. That is definitely London now. As soon as you get to about Wembley area, you can start to say you're in London. Wembley's like zone 4 or zone 5. So, yeah. We're a bit more London now than we were before. And obviously Wembley, home of the Wembley Football Stadium, home of the England Stadium. Not really a big football fan myself, but yeah, more of a Formula 1 fan. But, you know, football's okay, I suppose. Anyway, North Wembley, approaching very, very soon. How are we doing for time? Well, I think we're about a minute late so far. So, it's not been exactly an on-time service. But, we've given so far, I'd say, the passengers a pretty smooth ride. Like, yeah, you can't really complain at the smoothness. Like, but we're not running massively late. So, next is Wembley Central. Obviously, probably the more central stop to get out for Wembley Football Stadium. There's actually quite a few places you can get out at Wembley, because you've got, I think, Wembley Park as well, which is, I think, the closest actual tube stop to the actual football grounds, and I think it's the main stop to the football grounds, whereas Wembley Central is a bit more central. Also, you can get the London Overground from Wembley Central, which I believe you change at Willesden Junction, which also this train goes to as well. If you want to go to Stratford or Shepherd's Bush or Clapham Junction, yeah, you change there at Willesden Junction if you want to go to them destinations. So yeah, quite nice. Wembley is actually sort of bit of a screen freezer, but doesn't really affect too much. Anyway, approaching Wembley Central now. Still about 2 minutes late. So these obviously quite first few stations have quite long platforms. Not gonna lie, they do have quite very long platforms overall, which I suppose is a good thing, because you don't have to worry about like overrunning them or underrunning them. 'Cause you know that the train will fit on the platform. So next is Stonebridge Park, which is, again, a little bit further down the line. Trains do terminate at Stonebridge, I do believe. I do believe Stonebridge is a terminus station for the Bakerloo line. However, I believe it's only terminus station on a Sunday. I don't believe any other day of the week they terminate there. Except Sundays. I know they also terminate at Willesden Junction as well. So yeah, that's really the two stations they terminate. So we've now gone under this underpath type section of the track. Speed limit's 45. As we now once again go up the hill towards Stonebridge. Never been to Stonebridge, I haven't. So personally, I'm not too sure what it's like around there. It's relatively close to, obviously, Wembley Central, so I imagine it's a similar type area. And I've been to Wembley probably about once or twice. I think I've been there once for the market, because there's a decent market out there on a Saturday and Sunday. And the other time, well, just for a bit of shopping, because they do have decent shopping facilities out in Stonebridge, in Wembley, whereas Stonebridge never really been to, so not too sure. So this actually feels like the first proper underground station, even though it's not underground, if you know what I mean. It feels more like a designated platform for the underground, rather than previously where the other platforms just felt a bit more less designated, if you know what I mean. As in not so much thought out for the London Underground, more for ordinary trains. Anyway. So next stop is Helsden, or Harlesden, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway. Again, a place I've never been to in London. I've been to a fair old places. Well, I live in London, technically Loughborough Junction, but you know what I mean. Never been to some of these places, despite living in London. It's not really my cup of tea, because this is, right now, we're in North London, so obviously North London is different to South London. South London is better. That's a joke, by the way. But yeah, no. In all fairness, I think when you live in the capital, you tend to stick to your area, because there's no real point going around London everywhere, if you know what I mean. Like, you do go to these places occasionally, but it is a long old journey out here. It's not like it's 10-minute walk down the road. I think if you go there, it's a bit like going out for a day. You need to plan it, and yeah. So we're now in Harlesden. Not too sure how you pronounce that. Anyway. So right now we're still 2 minutes late. In fact, we're approaching the 3-minute barrier here in terms of lateness, which obviously isn't good. So we must be approaching the tunnel right now. For basically not too sure where the lights are. We're gonna turn on, headlights are on, that's good. Tail light can be on. Destination light is on. Gauge lights are off. We don't really need gauge lights anyway. Let's try and find the passenger lights. No. So these aren't passenger. That's not the passenger lights. Maybe it's one of these few dials. I don't want to press the wrong dial, if you know what I mean. 'Cause yeah. 'Cause, 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 yeah. ' mess up the train very easily. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with the train. Okay, so you can control also from this one. That's fairly cool. Cab space heater off. That's for knee space heater apparently. Again, you know, as you can see, there's no light on the train. Just show you a bit around anyway. So you actually do have a actual live time here. So you got trains to Queen's Park, 18 minutes to Harrow Wealdstone. Not sure why Harrow Wealdstone would be this platform. I thought it would be the other platform. But yeah, anyway. Right, gonna lock the doors. I couldn't find the actual cab light. Not cab light, but the light for the passengers. And I don't want to press the wrong button because, you know, that could, well, it could jeopardize the train through pressing the wrong button. And yeah, I don't want to do that. Only thing I can think of, maybe it's that. Again, another screen freeze. We're getting quite a lot of them. I don't know whether the screen freeze is coming through on your end. I hope not, because that does ruin the content. But yeah, getting a few screen freezes, which is a bit of a shame. No, that didn't work. And now we've got that door open. It's okay. But yeah. Anyway, next is Wealdstone Junction. Now, for the Bakerloo terminating lines, obviously, I believe what it is, they go into that one there, that little bay here, if a train terminates here. If they don't terminate here, they tend to not go into that. In fact, I'll actually show you where quickly the overground goes from. That was terrible parking, to be honest. So, it was okay, I suppose. So yeah, the overground, well, you can't actually go to it, I don't think, by the looks of it. No, you can't. But, as you can see, then upper platforms there are for the London Overground that go to Stratford for that direction and off to Richmond, I believe it is, and also off to Clapham Junction, obviously, in that direction. So yeah, and all the trains here should be for Elephant and Castle, as you can see. Tells you also where this train is calling at and all that. Pretty nice. That's pretty sweet. Other than that, yeah. In terms of the engine noises, I will say they've done an okay job. In terms of door noises, well, they've done a pretty decent job there. Next is Kensal Green. Obviously, again, you can actually get a train from Kensal Rise. However, you know, that's a bit further down the line. Not sure whether speed limit's changing. No. It's going up to 45 in fact, so if anything we can probably accelerate. But yeah, Kensal Rise is I think off to the left here. Also I believe London Overground trains do come in on them platforms as well. Some of them, if you're going out to Watford, you can get trains from that place to Watford as well. It's basically a interjunction, if you know what I mean, for the trains basically, off to different places such as Shepherd's Bush, you know, Watford. So yeah, it really is a good place to change if you're ever coming from that direction into London, of course, which is good. And Kensal Green, I imagine, you know, you can, well, it's a short walk to Kensal Rise from there, so I'm not saying get out at there. Your best bet is, if you're going to change onto the overground, always change at Wilston, you know, rather than going anywhere else, because again, I'm not too sure if actually there is, you know, so anyway, next is Kensal Green. So we're certainly more central now than we were before, of course, which is pretty obvious statement to make. But yeah, we are slowly making decent progress. We've lost a lot of time because I've been showing you sort of around the stations, and I will show you around the more central stations as well. So that's for Whistle. Still trying to work out where, you know, it's quite a windy day, I will say that, actually, out. Overall, but yeah. Anyway. Next is Queen's Park, and that's obviously a little bit down the road. Again, trains do terminate at Queen's Park, in the game anyway. I believe they also probably do so in real life, considering they terminate also in the game at Queen's Park. But yeah, it's alright. So again, that's obviously to the right now, the high-speed railway, heading towards Euston. Obviously, we're also heading that direction, because eventually we will break off from that, and we will actually go into the service tunnels, which obviously go below London's famous city. And we're now starting to really edge towards Zone 1. We're probably about Zone 3 now, I'd say, or Zone 3, Zone 4. In fact, I'm going to check whether there's actual map. Oh, that's a bit fast. I never knew we went through this part. Anyway, yeah, I will check if there's, well, on the map, what zone we are, because I don't know whether it will allow me, well, whether I can view that. So anyway, we're coming into Queen's Park, and I believe this is the final station before the service tunnels. I'm pretty positive of it now. We've got one more after this, possibly, prior to the service tunnels. So yeah, Queen's Park. Again, never really gone here, I don't think, in real life too much. But yeah, it is obviously a part of London that sort of many people go to. Yeah, I just want to have a now look, because there should be. So yeah, Zone 2 and next station. So right, we've got Kilburn, which I believe is underground. And yeah, from now I think Kilburn all the way to Elephant and Castle is all underground. So yeah, Queen's Park is the last, probably, I think, service, well, out of the service tunnel station. I do believe the next station is actually going to be underground, technically, and the first of underground stations to come. So yeah, next is Kilburn, obviously near Camden Town. It's a highly Irish populated part of London. So obviously, if you're certainly Irish. It's probably good for the Irish life in this part of London, Kilburn. Obviously, Camden, been to many times. Great also for the Chinese, not food necessarily, but a Chinese orientation street food. It's great for, plenty available of it there. So yeah, you know, something, you know, I highly recommend if you like your, let's say, street food. It's pretty decent overall. And you can actually pick up the Northern Line. I don't think you can pick up from here, but obviously if you, let's say, wanted to go to other destinations, it's actually a quite short walk to actually go pick up the Northern Line from here. However, I wouldn't recommend changing here for the Northern Line. If you want to change anywhere to get onto the Northern Line, your probably best bet would have to be either change at Elephant and Castle, where the train terminates, or change, obviously, at Waterloo or somewhere later on, because, yeah, you know, that's probably the best bet. So here's Kilburn. As you can see, it's actually painted quite a nice colour, I think, and very representative probably of the community that obviously comes from Kilburn. Obviously, as I say, that Irish community. So yeah, you know, quite representative of actually the community. Because as I said, it's a predominantly Irish part of London, Kilburn. So yeah. So yeah, pretty nice. Obviously there's the escalators. Can we go up them? Absolutely not. But yeah. You know. So got some typical maybe adverts you might see on the underground. But you know. So obviously these trains are to other destinations. In fact, just show you what it's like. We're gonna watch a train actually come in. The next train in should be 1 minute time. So yeah, I don't know why there's such a wide gap between the trains. Like 8 minutes, pretty long gap there, as you can see. Like between the first and the second train, and it's so far been a long 1 minute. So. Right, I believe the train should be coming in now. Maybe that's for that yellow thing there was a bit of an indication. I want to see whether or not it actually flashes, because sometimes when a train is due, it will actually flash with the train, and when I say flash, the board will sort of show train approaching, and that will flash. But no, clearly not. But yeah. Here obviously is that, you know, train. You know. No, I don't want to give up control. Tell like saying on that, but yeah. So that's going Queen's Park, that one. Even though, for whatever reason on the board, I swear it did say Harry Woolstone. But, that don't matter. We'll watch it depart. Obviously, these are quite old trains, these Bakerloo trains. They're not exactly new, if you know what I mean. They're pretty old. And obviously, that train is off to... Well, not off to Harry Woolstone, off to, you know, Queen's Park. So next train is due. In fact, we're causing probably a bit of a delay right now, which isn't good. If we were a real tube driver, we would probably be sacked. Right, why is it so far forward? Right, let's go. So, right. Next is Maidval, or whatever, Platform 2. Obviously, again, it's again in the Camden region. Not a tube station I've used personally. Maybe I have once, or been through it once or twice, but it's not really a tube station I've used personally. Maidval. So yeah, can't really say what it's like. Anyway. Some of the platforms on the Bakerloo line are quite, well, got large gaps between the actual platforms. Cool. So yeah, right. So next station is Warwick Avenue. Obviously, again, we're getting ever more central now, a lot more central. In terms of visibility in the tunnel, to be honest, you don't have much visibility. Not gonna lie, by the looks of it, like, you've only got, well, from what I can see, maybe a couple 100 meters. You can see that green signal, obviously, down there, but you ain't got an awful lot, I don't think, of visibility in the tunnels. It feels like the beam is not strong enough, personally. Not sure whether that could be to do with visibility of the, well, the visibility of the game, the actual game, not maybe, shown well. But you can see generally, the exit, which is a more important thing. So you can see when a station is approaching, so you can get the train slowed down anyway. So it doesn't make clearly too much of a difference, but yeah, it's not ideal. Anyway, Warwick Avenue. So obviously, I think next is Baker Street or somewhere in that direction. Probably is Baker Street. Obviously, this train actually goes to quite a few stations. No, it's Paddington. Paddington, obviously, is a main terminus for trains. Not sure, it's not the East Coast, but it is a place where you can get to quite a few destinations from. So yeah, Paddington, quite famous, obviously, probably became more famous in recent years for the movies that were associated with it. Paddington Bear, of course. That's probably where Paddington's become more and more famous, I suppose, but it's been famous throughout its time. Very, very well known. Very close to Edgware Road. I believe Edgware Road will probably be next, or Baker Street, one of the two. Because obviously, yeah, quite close to them two. It's a nice station overall, Paddington. It's alright. It's got a Marks and Spencer's. It's got a few coffee shops. You can change, I believe, for the Circle line and District line, which is good here at Paddington. It's quite an old station. Certainly one of the more older ones. So yeah, it's alright. So Paddington, obviously. Again, nice station. Is obviously one of them stations where you can get other connections, like Circle Line, District Line. Also, you can get from here. Obviously the overheads. So yeah. Anyway, next is Edgware Road. Obviously, Edgware Road. Just down the road, literally. When I say just down the road, it's probably not even a 5-minute walk from Paddington to Edgware Road. If you're a decent walker, you could probably do it within about 2 to 3 minutes. And you know what? You could probably run it in about less than, I'd say certainly 2 minutes. Easy. It's probably about, as you can see, well, you can see here, it's 300 yards. I think when we started, it's around less than half a mile. Like, to Edgware Road, it's a ridiculously short journey. And, yeah, it goes under, I believe, Bell Street and all of that, so, yeah, pretty nice. But, yeah, Edgware Road, again, you know, it's one of more older train stations. I don't think this is the Edgware Road where the terror attacks happened back in the day. I believe it was actually a station, if you know what I mean, back in the day where actually, obviously, that was back in 2007 I'm thinking of, I think, or 2001, not too sure. But yeah, you know, obviously, yeah, the train, I believe it was something happened in the service tunnels, not too sure, have to look up on it, but I certainly know something happened around 10 years ago, you know, near here. It was a horrific incident, but yeah. Anyway, Marylebone next. Obviously, Marylebone is where the number 2 bus that goes from Norwood to Marylebone, or Marylebone to West Norwood. So yeah, you know, obviously that's where the bus terminates if you're ever getting on the number 2. Goes through all sorts of places, Tulthill, Brixton, that bus does, Victoria, so very handy bus for servicing central London, indeed. Anyway, Marylebone is the next stop. As we pull into Marylebone. And obviously one of the things on the Bakerloo line, I will say, obviously it's very, some of the platforms can be very, obviously, what you call it, big gaps between the trains and the platforms. I know Waterloo is one of the worst for that, in that scenario. I never like getting on the Bakerloo line at Waterloo, very big gap. Anyway, next is Baker Street. Baker Street has a very unusual platform. Obviously, it's a bit rigged, if that makes sense. So it's not actually a solid platform, if you know what I mean. Unlike them platforms are what you call it, curved one direction, but I believe Baker Street has a more rigged platform, so it swerves like left and right or right then left. Not too sure. But I definitely know it's got one or more rigged platforms and a very unusual platform to it. You'll see what I mean. So it starts off going left, but then it will eventually swerve a little bit to the right. I don't think it does it so much on this one, but you can see what I mean. It swerves a little bit, which is a bit unusual. We messed up braking there a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, Baker Street now. Obviously, right now you can see it's 7:27. We're rather late. We're certainly not making up for any lost time here. Right, next must be Oxford Street. Oh no, Regent's Park. Might be Regent Park has a rigged platform actually, not sure. But I know one of these next to you has a very rigged platform, but I believe it was that one, definitely. As the most rigged platform. And, you know, it's a very short walk actually between all these stations. Like, certainly less than, well, very walkable, certainly. I wouldn't necessarily say, if you're on the tube, I think it's always best to stay on the tube until you get to your destination. But, you know, obviously, if you're not on the tube, and let's say you're going from here to Oxford Street, to be honest, I think you might as well walk from Baker Street to Oxford Street. It's a very walkable, it's a nice walk, flat as well, so, you know, it's pretty decent overall. And highly recommended if you're going from, as I say, them stations to that. Anyway. So, Regent Street or Regent's Park. Have a quick look around. Obviously, it must be very dark in the service tunnels. So there's the exit. Obviously, you can cross over platforms down here. Nice colours. They've done the actual colouring pretty spot on. So train to Queen's Park apparently. That's if it is going to Queen's Park. You never know. But yeah. So basically, that is literally over. What's things like behind us? So yeah, we got two trains basically following my jam behind me. We are running 10 minutes late, so it is no surprise. Anyway. Next is Oxford Circus. What's that annoying sound? I've touched something and it's making the most horriblest of sounds. Could be that. Alright, coming into Oxford Circus now. Obviously, in change here for, I believe, Northern Line, but definitely the Victoria Line and Central Lines definitely will go from this platform, well, from this tube station. In terms of, I will say, in terms of the Oxford Street tube station for the Bakerloo line, I will say it does feel very horrible. It's not my favourite, to tell you the truth. My probably favourite platform for like Oxford Street is probably the Victoria line. I do like Victoria line, Oxford Street, but yeah, it doesn't feel nice here, the Oxford Street one. I don't know why, it's never been a fan of. Anyway, so it's only Zone 1. I believe the next one is Piccadilly. Oh yeah, Piccadilly, Charing Cross, Embankment, Waterloo. So we've got still a few to go. Anyway, Let's shut the doors and let's go. So next is Piccadilly. Then we got Charing Cross, Embankment, Waterloo, and finally, obviously, Journey Ends. Why aren't we going? Are the doors shut? They should be. We're edging forward slowly. Come on. What have we done? Right, what I may do, I may just give up control of the train. Sometimes that can help, and then just nick it at the next station. So let's sit down. In fact, if we go further up. Obviously, that's one handy thing, by the way, about these trains. You can actually walk through the carriages. Ah, I've just realised. Okay, so the doors on the right, no wonder why we weren't going. The doors on the right have been opened. Clearly they shouldn't be open. They should be all shut. And that is why we can't, you know, right. Makes sense that now. And I was wondering to myself, why isn't the train going? What have we done to the train? Well, what we did was we opened both doors. Right, now the train should work as a train. Right, we're now going. There we go. So after 20 odd minutes of working out what actually, or why we weren't moving anywhere, we can finally get on our way to Piccadilly Circus. Obviously, Piccadilly, very good for the theatres. West End, obviously. So yeah, if you're a theatre goer, Piccadilly's a stop to get out of. Overall. So, obviously, thank you to BioShocks, I presume that's how you pronounce your username. Is that a London Underground train? Well, absolutely, it 100% is. And apparently it changed to Avanti. Yes, I knew it was something like that. Obviously, I knew it changed to one of them. Just couldn't remember the name. And actually, London Midlands isn't called London Midlands no more. I believe that's changed as well to, I think, London North Western Railway, if I'm correct in stating. So, yeah. Rocky Scott, F1. That looks like Vettel's Ferrari. Well, to be honest, it probably has more power than Vettel's Ferrari. Overall, and probably more stable. So yeah, thanks for the comment anyway. More than appreciated. If you have enjoyed, obviously, this video, then please make sure you do leave it a like. We are going to be doing a different journey, a different route on a different train. On a German train. On the high speed, so we're not just going to do underground. We are going to do another route. So yeah. Subscribe if you're new, by the way, that would be more than appreciated. Leave the video a like, share it, you know, that would more than be appreciated, and I'd be very thankful if you did that for me today. So yeah, you know. Otherwise, I hope you're enjoying the content and this lovely train journey across London's capital, as we're now certainly more in Zone 1 than we were at the start of our journey. As obviously, we're now 100% underground. So this is Charing Cross. Obviously, not really too much to say about Charing Cross. It's alright, I suppose. Alright. Next is Embankment. Obviously, Embankment, obviously, probably best actually if you're changing that embankment. Well, it's, I think the last stop where you can change for the district, central, no, district, circle, and Hammersmith and City lines. So yeah, it's the last stop on the actual Bakerloo line where you can change for those. So if you're going to Wimbledon or Upminster, yeah, that's really obviously the place you change at. And actually, to be honest, I like Embankment a lot in terms of from a Bakerloo perspective. There's something about it that, you know, it's just done nicely for the Bakerloo line. Having to use a lot of brake there, but that's okay. Anyway, so right, as you can see, it's done nicely. I like how they've done it here at Embankment, with the blue and Bakerloo. I think you can also change for maybe the Piccadilly and Central as well. Anyway, now we're going to go into South London. So technically, we're actually now going to go under the River Thames, because obviously it's the underground, not the overground. So yep, we're now obviously going under the River Thames, and next is Waterloo. Again, it's another station where you can actually change for overheads. If you want to probably go to Clapham Junction, it's probably best to change at this one. In terms of for a fast overhead, because, you know, well, the overheads from Waterloo are pretty quick, pretty speedy, and not only that, you know, it's probably your best bet, as it's, I think, only 2 stops or 3 stops from Waterloo to Clapham Junction on the overhead from obviously this station. Also, you can also get trains to Wimbledon from here as well. Again, overhead, because you can get, well, I believe it's South Western Railway that goes from here. So yeah, you can get obviously your overheads. But the thing I don't like about Waterloo is the platform. In fact, I don't know how representative the gap will be, but if it's done well this game, then the gap will be shown pretty and represented pretty well here. There's an awful gap between the platform and the train here, because not only, well, it is done pretty okay, but probably not here shows its best, but obviously, look at, just, right, imagine that in real life. You can see the gap there between the actual train and the platform. It's a nasty old gap, and yeah, they certainly need the mind the gap, obviously, saying here. I think that's actually where probably this became famous from. And again, you can change for the Northern Line here. You know, in fact, I think the next few you can change for the Northern Line, The next one's Lambeth Central. I'm positive of that. Next is Lambeth Central. Yeah, Lambeth North, sorry. And I believe you can change full over the Northern Line here as well, but it's just to a different destination. Because I believe the Lambeth North branch doesn't stop at Elephant, whereas the Waterloo branch does stop at Elephant. That's a secret for you to obviously know. So yeah, you know, obviously, it's alright, obviously. Don't take my word as gospel, by the way, because if you do that, you probably will go wrong. You know, I may know some of the stations and some of the things, but yeah, don't take my word as gospel. Learn for yourself, as I say. You know. But yeah, Lambeth North is obviously our next destination en route. Here, obviously, this is basically the second final station prior to Elephant and Castle. Yeah, it's all right, Lambeth. You know, it's a lovely part of London. Yeah, this is obviously Lambeth North. Again, you can change for the Northern Line. Now, obviously, a little secret. I don't know whether well, I imagine some of you train enthusiasts will know, but I'm pretty sure, obviously, the reason why this is painted black, and white, obviously to represent the colours of the Northern Line, believe it or not. Obviously, as you can see, it's painted obviously brown as well, brown and yellow. That's to represent the colours of the Bakerloo line, but it's also painted black also to represent the Northern Line, which I'm almost 100% certain of. And that's why they do that. And they do it at other stations as well, where you can make a change. They'll paint it just as like a, not a way of telling you, right, you can change here for the Northern Line, but it's a sort of like, let's say, a hidden message, Northern Line change here sort of thing, and pretty clever, because a lot of people, obviously, don't get hidden messages. Now, I do know sometimes here, you can actually get a red signal. Usually you do actually, I tend to find. When you go into Elephant and Castle, you get a red signal where you have to stop the train prior to going into Elephant and Castle, because it is a terminating station, bear that in mind. So yeah, you do actually get, or tend sometimes, quite frequently, you get a red signal, and yeah, obviously, it is what it is, but it obviously, I don't think we're going to get red signal today, by the looks of it. But yeah, obviously, Elephant and Castle, Zone 1, we may, but that's, I believe, at the end of the platform, as we have to reduce speed anyway, and we're going into Platform 3. Obviously, that then must be Platform 2, there, I take it, or Platform 4, not sure. So, Elephant and Castle, obviously the final stop on the Bakerloo line, then, obviously you can change as well for the, Northern Line, and get the train properly inside the platform here. Lovely, that is great stuff, and there we go, and that is, there you have it, a completion of. I have no idea. That is very odd. So you can't actually walk that way. Can't go upstairs, which is a great shame. Again, you can't go up them stairs either, so I can't show you actually, by the look of it, around. I wanted to have a bit of exploration, see some of the stuff upstairs. Clearly not. But yeah. And then obviously that train, I presume, well, does a return leg to Harrowed Willstone, obviously. So now we must shut the train down, I presume, I take it. Obviously it tells me lock the doors. And there we go. So overall we did alright, I suppose. Apparently we got gold. Not sure what gold is. But yeah, that's alright. I suppose. We're gonna return to free roam. I want to get off this train though, prior to doing so. So just so no. I don't want to get stuck. Finally the lights have come on. So yeah, I imagine that train now will depart towards Harrowed Willstone. This platform is actually a little bit straighter, I've just noticed. So yeah, whereas this platform is a bit more curved. It does have a more curvy angle, which, you know, just a small feature. Yeah, so that train is off to Harrowed Willstone. I do wonder whether another train could... There was actually 2 trains behind us, so I imagine therefore maybe another train will come in. That would be immediately. I don't think this train will depart first. We'll find out anyway. But yeah, these trains are quite long actually. They are a fairly long train overall. Do wonder whether a different train will come in. Obviously you can see that train there departing. But yeah, but soon, very very soon, well, in a sec, I'm gonna do another video. Well, not video, but another so you actually can't walk down the tunnels by the looks of it, which is okay, fair enough. It wouldn't be necessarily the wisest thing to walk down a tube tunnel. That train's still there. Not sure whether that's a 16-minute or 18-minute wait, not too sure what's gone on there, but yeah. And that train also departing, so there you go. So, right, back to the menu. And we're gonna now do the ICE. First, I believe we'll have to take part in a tutorial, which is okay, that's no probs. But ICE, in case you don't know, if you've ever been on Eurostar, I suppose you could compare it to Eurostar or to a Virgin train. It's basically that, okay, in other words. Very, very high-speed railway. European train. I believe they go from Germany to France and also to other places as well. They go all over the place, basically, the ICEs. And yeah, I think they're an international train technically. I'm not sure whether we're going to do an international route here. I'm not too sure what the route will be like here. Exactly. I imagine we'll have an okay route.
An
So, yeah.
immersive and highly detailed rail simulation featuring authentic routes and trains from around the world.
So
You've just been awarded some action points. These are displayed in the top right corner of the screen and count towards your overall experience. It is necessary to be fully observant of the surrounding world. Practice by looking up, down, left, and right.
Cool. Would you like to invert third?
Besides operating
so
trains,
cool.
there are lots of requirements to navigate on foot. Try moving around now.
So I believe we've been to this station before.
This is one of many interactives to be discovered, but not all of them will be as easy to find as this one.
I think we must board that train. If I'm aware, similar to what we had to do. Tutorials only take a few minutes to do. To some degree they are important to do. I think it just depends, like, you know, I suppose. Anyway, we're gonna get into apparently this train cabin they want us to get into. And yep. Obviously not sure where we have to go, which one they want us to go in. I'm just gonna sit in this one. At least we
You
do
can
it.
pause the experience at any point and
So, I think we must get up now. Cool. Obviously, first class this is.
a lot of time will be spent operating trains, so when ready, sit in the driver's seat.
So here we go. This is the ICE.
A heads-up display has appeared on the right side of the screen. This is a guide to what the train is doing. This is the speed display. The white needle shows current speed. The red marker indicates the maximum permitted speed.
So these trains go up to 350 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast.
This is the direction display. An arrow will indicate forward, reverse, and neutral directions.
Cool.
This is the power display. A number will indicate what position the power control is in.
Cool.
These are brake indicators. They show the state of the various brake systems, allowing independent management of them. In the top right, there are the signal and speed limit displays. These feature an indication of what is approaching and a countdown distance to when they will come into effect.
So, that's alright.
Some of these displays can be hidden via the settings menu for a more challenging experience. This train is ready to go. Push the indicated handle all the way forwards to get moving.
Alright, now it's just slowly going up through the gears. Obviously, not too sure how much power these trains exactly have. I know they have a fair bit of power.
The line from here runs to the border with Holland and Belgium and forms part of the international network of services that operate across Europe.
Okay, that's intriguing. So,
this particular train is a third-generation intercity express built by Siemens in Germany for international operations. It is formed of 8 cars and has a top speed of 320 kilometers per hour.
So, invert's displaying 350 on my display. Apparently it's 320. So yeah. So next speed limit is 70. I'm not sure how much we're going to do in the tutorial, but we will do, or try and do a bit of the route at least, give you an
World
idea.
allows you to ride and drive from a selection of camera views. Let's take a look now while exploring this train.
Oh. How do you do that? R3. Which one's R3? Oh.
You can change between internal and external camera views by pressing the right stick.
To be honest, I prefer the inside, but yeah.
You've only explored a small area here, so let's take a look at what else there is to enjoy.
So there we
Welcome
go.
to West Germany. Prepare yourself for a high-speed ride on the world's first international railway line, linking Köln with Holland and Belgium. Experience the thrill of driving the highly modern ICE 3M electric high-speed train up to 250 kilometers per hour, or take in the sights of the border region while riding the versatile BR442 Talent 2 articulated multiple unit. International Express or Tranquil commuter service. You set the pace. Along the way, don't forget to place route maps, apply safety signage, place hazard cones, and restock first aid points. Welcome to the Köln-Aachen high-speed line.
So, right. Obviously, that is that tutorial over. We're gonna see. I don't want to do too long of a route. We've already been, must be at least an hour. How long we've been going for? Like, must be a good while yet. Yeah, 1 hour. I don't want to do too long of a route because we've already been going for a fair old while. So I want to do like a reasonable journey if there is one. If not, I may call that a day for now and end the video here. But if there is a reasonable journey that only takes, I don't know, 20 minutes at most, I may call that. But I don't want to do another tutorial. I don't want to do another tutorial. I'm fine with tutorials. No offense, because I know how to drive the ICE, which is the main train I want to drive right now. See what the ICE is like. How long is this estimated route? It looks alright. Right, we'll see how long it is. Belarus, so that's where we're going to. So Frankfurt to Belarus. I hope it's obviously not too long, because yeah, I don't want to do too long of a journey. I just want to do a medium-ish journey, if you know what I mean. Like no more than 20 minutes. I hope that it's no more than 20 minutes, because we've already done the Bakerloo line and that's taken about 1 hour-ish. I know we were like delaying ourselves anyway because we were exploring stuff and showing you guys basically the sights of London's underground city, but I definitely don't want to do too much of a journey here. So right, first thing we gotta do is unlock the doors. It didn't tell me how to do that bit. I imagine there's a unlock door thing here somewhere. How do you unlock the doors? Right. There we go. So doors should be unlocked.
Türen geöffnet. Störung. Zugbeeinflussung.
So.
Die gesperrt.
Ah, okay.
Störung.
So. Train is pretty much set up and ready to go. By the looks of it here. More or less. Curb light, we'll turn that on for now. Headlights, normal beam. Yeah, just so then, yeah. So we're going to Belarus from here. Obviously, right now we're at Frankfurt. As soon as we actually leave, in 90 meters, the speed limit's already 160, so pretty fast. You know, even prior to basically, you know, close both sides.
Schließvorgang eingeleitet.
So basically, we can leave in 5 seconds time. If I'm just gonna start the power, and there we go. So in fact, 30-minute journey to Belarus. Sorry, to not Belarus, to the next station, which is in 56 kilometers. And I will end the video there, so that will be today's video then done. We're gonna try and blitz it, but safely, of course. So right now, speed limit's just a little bit. So, speed limit has risen. Obviously, we've got quite a distance to Belarus. I think. Let's see. So, okay, it is a fair old distance. Not gonna lie, it's a very fair old distance.
Abwehreinflüsse.
So it should take 30 minutes. I think that's the actual journey. I'm not sure. So, I think now we come to the part of the video quickly, just discussing what I think of the game, my thoughts on the actual game, and whether or not I would recommend you guys to buy the game. Personally, you know, look, as I say, you know, this game isn't going to appeal to everyone, okay? Like, not every single person would want to play this game. Only train enthusiasts are going to want to play this game, and that's the reality of the situation. Is it worth buying? For $24.99, you know, overall, it's, you know, a pretty decent deal. You get quite a few trains, as you can see. You get the London Underground, something you didn't get at this, in last year's game when it came out. So is it worth buying? Well, to be honest with you, if you're just not into this stuff, or you're not into train sims, then no, absolutely not. It probably isn't worth your pocket. But if you are, and you're a PS4 only user, I think it is. If you're on the PC, however, I would probably say no, because there are better train sims probably out there, less bugs, less screen freezes for you to worry about. So in that sense, you know, obviously there are better train sims out there, absolutely 100%. I'm not gonna say the graphics are absolutely 100% stunning, but at the end of the day, they're not bad either for the PS4, I suppose. And considering it's PS4, I guess that's decent. You know, overall, you can't really complain at something where, you know, it's pretty decent, like, I guess for PS4. So yeah, speed limit is rising up to 250 at very, very soon. Obviously, right now, signal is green. So, 200 meters, and we can go up to 250. But yeah, it's alright. It's a decent game. And now we can go up to 250. So imagine quite a while to get up to that speed. But we can take the train now up to that. I'm not sure what that is in miles per h. Let me just check. But yeah, overall it's pretty decent for PS4 this game. That's my analysis. And is it better than the original Train Sim World? Well, you know, to be honest with you, I think it is. So far, I'm happy with it. Can't say I'm not. And yeah, you know, it's just a bit different, you know. So it's around 155. That is 250. Don't take long to get there. Oh. So this is the outside. Yeah, I'm not really that great at operating the camera. I do apologise. Camera isn't really my thing, but yeah. So we're now in excess of that. As I say, I'm just going to try and blitz it and see what this train is really capable of. Why not? So long as it's all green and it's all safe, give it a go. So right now we're at 276. Right now apparently train's got a maximum speed of 320 according to that tutorial, but according to the on-screen display it says 350. So let's see who's right, who's wrong. But either way, we're moving at quite some speed now through the German countryside, and we've got around 44 kilometers to go. Obviously, I believe a kilometer is further than a mile, or something like that. It's not really as much a kilometer, so I think a kilometer is roughly around half a mile or something. It's not a full mile, so 20 kilometers could be a lot further, you know what I mean. So right now we're at 312, so if the engineer's right, well, according to this, we shall soon be slowing down. Or not slowing down, but we won't be going any faster, because we would have reached our terminal velocity, basically our fastest possible speed. And right now, doesn't seem to be the case. Like 319, okay, we have slowed down in terms of the acceleration is less, but we've now reached 320. So effectively, we should have reached our terminal velocity. We've already passed that and exceeded it by 2 miles per hour. So, or sorry, 2 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you know, obviously it's a lot faster than what he said. In fact, we're now 5 kilometers an hour quicker than what the voice intro said, which is rather intriguing. Obviously not sure whether we're going to be able to go any faster and reach 350. That is the, well, aims, I suppose. And we're at 330 now, so we are now really starting to move. Actually just been watching that, and yeah, it's really intriguing to see how that pantograph moving up and down. And we're now at 330 kilometers an hour, 334. So yeah, starting to still. It seems like leveling out a little bit now more. 335. Got 33 kilometers to go, so it's still a fairly long old distance. 336, 337. So 338, 339 kilometers an hour. So I just want to work out what 350 would be in terms of miles per hour quickly. Let's have a look. I imagine that'd be around 200 miles per hour. Yeah, 217 miles per hour if we reach that speed, which is, gosh, very, very quick indeed. That's as quick as a Formula 1 car, basically, around Monza. You know, but just on rails. Very, very quick indeed, that is 350. So, in fact, we've basically reached it. And, in fact, we're going so fast now, the game can't even keep up. So we are really testing the game's limit in how much it can compatible with, I suppose. Cause we're going so fast, we're basically getting screen freezes. Yeah, this is killing the game, quite literally, because basically the game is very much screen freezing right now, very heavily. And we're still accelerating incredibly. We're still going faster. In fact, we're 357 miles per hour, 358. So we're going faster despite we've reached even beyond our terminal velocity. Because do bear in mind, on that dial it says 360. So we're actually 10 kilometers ahead of that even. And we're still accelerating, and don't forget, we aren't even on a downhill segment of track. We're actually on an uphill segment of track, believe it or not, because now we're like going downhill, but very small drop. And yeah, we're now at 364. So just to give you an idea of what speed we're doing 225 miles per hour right now. 368. Can we go any quicker? Like, we're still accelerating. We're 20 kilometers, well, 18 kilometers over our, basically our terminal velocity. Can we go any faster? It looks like 368 is right now the maximum we're going to do on this segment of track, despite going uphill. But that's 228 miles per hour, and in fact, yeah, we are now starting to slow down, so we're starting to see obviously the speed starting to curve a little bit, but get a downhill segment of track, you never know, you might even be able to go even faster than what we're going right now, at 368, which is 228 miles per hour, in other words. So we're still plummeting along very, very quickly, like stupidly quick. This is and 369 and 370. So we've actually now reached even faster speeds than what we have done. So 371. Wow. 371. So 230 miles per hour roughly now we're touching, which is crazily fast. You know, I'm not sure even the bullet train goes this fast. Look it up if you don't mind, if anyone, you know, yeah, check what speed the bullet train can do. But 230 in an ICE, basically you might as well call it the bullet train, because even at that speed, 228 now we've come down to, on this flat piece of ground. But even at that speed, effectively, like, you know, you're moving so fast, you know. Yeah, and we ain't got now many more. Holy, oh dear, that's a bad crash. But at least we tested it. And that will be then the end of the video then, guys. Thank you for watching. We certainly put that train there to its absolute limit, I think, there. And yeah, I know why now they don't go at that speed. As you can see, derail like that. And very, very bad, not good. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you all next time.